Hey, welcome to Six Bears 3D Printing. I'm Papa Bear, and I have a few exciting things to share with you today. Of course, the phone has to ring as soon as I get on the camera. That's just seems to be the way it goes for me. Um, Wanted to share new projects with you and some exciting news. I'm going to save that till the end, so hang around. It's actually worth it, I promise you. Something big for the big. Something you, all of you new guys to 3D printing can aspire to. And something all of us old guys to 3D printing can go, I told you so. See? So let's talk about the new project first. I have a new project from a customer. They want a bust of Iron Man. Of course, we all know everyone makes Iron Man statues and armor and all that. Ironically, I have not done an Iron Man. I avoided it on purpose because I did not want to make the same thing everyone else does. So, as they said, they want the Mark 50 from Infinity Wars, and they just want a bust, maybe about a foot and a half tall. I said, okay, we can do that. So here I am. I start the project last night. The first thing I started was the arc reactor. The arc reactor it's a standout piece. You've got to make it just right, which leads to I printed it in translucent filament. Now look, if any of you have done any translucent filament work, you know it is never clear, as it says on many of it. It says clear filament. Well, we know that's a crock. But I can actually help you get that almost clear. I've mastered a few techniques that get it almost clear. We'll talk about that in just a second. So this was the beginning of the Iron Man statue. This is a Mark 50 reactor. Now you'll notice the wire coming from the inside of it. Now, I was sitting there and I printed it last night, and the customer did not ask for this, but I got a wild hair up my, and I said, wouldn't it be neat if a mini reactor could light up for the customer? I mean, why not, right? So I decided to fiddle fart around with some micro LEDs. A little bit of power, a few settings, because you got to be careful, otherwise you'll blow them out. But it now does that. It will light up very, very bright. Now that will sit there and go into a hole in the chest plate, which I will show you that in just a second. I think it looks really good. And then it's right there. You can see that leads to a USB plug and just a little computer chipboard, but because I need the resistance for it. But that is the beginning of the Mark 50 set. Little, but there we go. How cool is that, right? Just sitting there like that. I'm going to end up having to make a life-size one of them because now I do actually have. Here we go. An arc reactor that's touch sensitive sitting on my desk. Now I could take that out of there and hold it in my hand and do the same thing. But I wanted a Mark 50 reactor that I could do this with. I thought that would be pretty cool and tiny, of course. Now, behind me, you can see the printers running all back there. Now, the ones that are running are working on pieces of the helmet and stuff. But what I'm going to show you is the slice for it. I'm using Prusa Slicer. Now, the Prusa Slicer allows me to have multiple plates. What I'm talking about are the plates for the printer. Let me turn this off. Ooh, that's bright. The plates that the print is sitting on. It's very helpful to be able to have multiple plates already sliced, set up. So all you do is go print, select your printer, hit print, send it to the printer, bada bing, bada boom. You got prints. Ooh, let me get a little drink here. But it helps you with your organization. Now, let's share the screen a little bit. Let me show you a little. As they say, let me show you something. Here we go. Boom, come up. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right. So here's our goal. This is what we're making. That's the arc reactor that I took out of the chest, out of the statue, decided to light it up. What I'm doing is I am going to create sort of a model for this individual. They're going to get it in pieces and they're going to build it themselves, but I'm going to have it painted, lacquered, and protected. So they just put it together. This piece right here is what's inside there, attached to this little Avengers base that you see. You can see it when you look in the back. That is what holds the pieces of armor together. Now, I did mess around with it a little bit. I can make this life size. You can actually translate this very easily to life size. I thought, okay, I'm getting tempted here just to fool around with it. But I don't usually make Iron Man armor. So the head sits on a peg on top of that post. I decided to, look at this. Boom. Yep, I can make the helmet. I can strip it to 2 pieces and we can make the helmet right there. Expand it to life size, not a problem. This is only a 37% size piece. We can hit one setting. Over here to the right, super simple. Boom. All we got to do is adjust it. Well, this one's 56%. I forgot I did have to go up a little bit. And we'll put it on here. Now this is, I already got it hollowed out so I could put LEDs in here. And I think the LEDs will, if I decide to make the eyes light up, they will enhance it quite a lot. Okay. Back here are your shoulders. Now here's what's unique about it. Okay. See, if you highlight the plate, see how the plate turned black on number 6. I can sit here and work on just these guys. Let's say I want to go ahead and slice them. Let's just, for fun, let's go ahead and do the slice. Okay. I'm using organic supports, so it looks kind of like a tree with a light contact. Now, the light contact provides for less scarring, but you have to be careful because it also ends up with less touching, so it can be a little finicky on the support. Printing vertically. If you print this vertically, you will avoid a lot of layer lines. Cut your sanding down to almost nothing. Very important. So it matters how you print. If I lay these down to print flat, here I can even show you. You see how this is what it will look like. Very little on the layer lines. But if I take this puppy and I move it like this, let's see. Okay, let's pull a face. I call it a face plant. Boom. Now let's hit the slice. If I do it like this, you see the ring on it? This is what you're going to get. It's very difficult to sand out, very difficult to make it look smooth. So remember that next time you've got a round or even an angled surface, try to get a vertical print. They're a little touchier, but they are worth it. Now let's just do a little magic. We'll back it up a little bit. There we go. All right. Here we got the chest, the neck. I mean, this is the neck. Now this can be hollowed out for LEDs. I'm not doing it right now. Not for this one. This is the trim off the front of the arc reactor. I decided to slice it off. As you can see, the arc reactor is right here. Now, the interesting part about this arc reactor being here, okay? If you look at it, you see how you can see a little bit of that detail showing, but it's kind of gone. That's because I use the slicer right here to do this with just this little cut. You can cut details, print them in a separate color, then glue them back on and create some beautiful, beautiful pieces. Because sometimes you can't print it in 2 colors. Like if I lay this flat, it will come out different. It's not going to come out right. So printing it vertically, again, eliminating the layer lines a little bit better. And then just doing that I cut off. Now, let me show you a little bit about some. Let's do it. Let's take this right here. This is the stand, the base, okay? Beautiful base. But look at the detail, lots of detail. For instance, the A for Avengers. We don't want to print that in all the same color, but what if you don't feel like painting it? Well, let's play with it a little bit. Let's grab our cut tool, rotate forward to, say, an even 90 degrees. Watch this, we bring it forward. I try to isolate just that. Now, if you look, you gotta be careful because we're going to isolate what's inside of here too. So let's see if we can get just a tiny bit. Beep, 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 beep. Will it let me get? Ah, here we go. Look, I saw it. Oh, look. Okay, we can eliminate that. We're going to. The back ring is just too integrated. It appears the back ring is just going to stay. So for now, look, we can either choose to leave the back ring the way it is, or we can choose just to have that symbol right there. Okay, let's take it back a step. We're just going to grab that back ring. We're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now you'll notice the different tones. You got object A, object B. But we need these feet right here to be object B. So just give it a right click. Boom, look at this. It turns into the object B. So when I do the cutting, it will not cut through these feet. Watch this. We're going to keep the orientation. Boom, look at that. Took it right off of there. A whole separate deal. Left the feet alone, all still intact, looking good. Now we can take this, print the A for Avengers in a different color on a different plate, and glue it back on. Now, see, it's that little extra detail that you can do just to add a touch to your printing. Now, let's talk about that translucent filament. Okay, I printed the body of the arc reactor translucent. One of the tricks in your translucent filament comes in the infill. Get that infill to 0. Okay, now you may wonder, well, it's just going to be so fragile. Yes, it can be. Now this one, I printed with what we call 2 perimeters. It gives it a little strength, but it's completely hollow, allowing the light to pass through, and the body of the structure of it is clear. Now, the best one you can do is if you go over to your print settings, guys. This is what I'm telling you. You've got to pay attention to. Perimeters. These are your friends, guys. Don't forget them. If you take this down to 1 perimeter, 1, and you print it with a 0 infill, you will get and print it slow. Do not speed your printing up, okay? Printing slow will give it a clearer finish. 0 infill, 1 perimeter, and you will get a surprisingly clear print that makes a great window or any object that you're trying to do. Now, it's not going to be completely clear. You're not going to get that out of filament. Don't let anybody tell you you will. But what you can do, you can take, say, 1000 grit sandpaper, lightly sand that, and then put a high gloss coating over it. Some people they even paint 2-component resin and cure it. Anything that's high gloss and clear, because it'll fill in those gaps and the holes from the scratches, and it'll increase the clarity. But you've got to start with the perimeters the way I'm telling you. You will make it so much better if you do it that way. So remember, sand it gently. Don't push. Cover it with a high gloss coating, but also wipe it with a damp cloth first. Get all of the little particles out of it. You'll come out with some very, very nice prints. I use it especially on little things like my Doctor Who clocks, my Star Trek stuff. Man, it comes out good. Now, I did not want the arc reactor that clear because it's not that clear. Otherwise, I do the best I could to get it clear, right? It looked really good. But your translucent filaments are so tricky. If you print them at regular speed, they will get cloudy. Slow down your print. Don't be afraid to let it take a little longer. You'll be rewarded with some fantastic finishes. Okay, speed will change the color of your filament. The faster it goes, the duller it gets. You want a high clarity or a high shine, just slow your speed down to say 75%. Watch what happens. You're going to be so surprised. You're like, oh my God, wait a minute. It's worth waiting an extra 15, 20 minutes. Definitely is, guys. Definitely is. Okay? One of the best things ever. Now, let's get on to the big news. So as you may or may not know, I need a drink of coffee, sorry. Old guy here needs Java. Yep, can't live without coffee. Okay, on to the fun stuff. So as I've been working on stuff, and as you know, if you fellow 3D printers, you tend to create a lot of stuff. And you don't know, what you're going to do with it. Well, I personally am a big supporter of the Second Amendment. Okay, I carry a pistol, but the thing that I'm big on is pistol safety. Okay, I believe everyone should have the right to carry, but I believe you should carry responsibly and safety. So I've designed something, and I can't talk about it yet because a couple of weeks when the patent is official, I can show it all to you in detail. Okay, but look at this monster right here. Yeah, see that right there? That says that the old Papa Bear has got a unique idea. Yes, we have a 1 in 8 billion idea for a new type of holster for everybody to have a safe experience carrying their firearm. So keep an eye out. You're going to be looking for the 6 Bears tactical holster. I can't show it to you, but I will soon. I will go over all the details. I've been told by my test market, and I do have them in a test market, that it is revolutionary. So I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm just an old man sitting out on a farm trying to learn some new stuff. But I've been told that it's a fantastic holster. So I'm crossing my fingers, and we're going to find out. So cross your fingers, guys. I'll go into some details soon. I'll show you all about it when the patent is filed. But that's the big news. It is going to patent. We are going to be patent pending, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it. I know, cheesy old bear dancing on. Oh, wait, I'm a dancing bear. Not. This old bear don't dance, guys, okay? Just say it. But, I just realized I should have waited before I shipped the Pooh Bear that I finished for a customer. I kept the prototype heads I was working on, but I should have waited to send the Pooh Bear, the finished one, so y'all can see it. So these are the prototypes. I didn't like the texture. These are resin. Paint wouldn't stick. Yeah, I don't know. It just came out. I don't know. I just didn't like the way it looked. But I did have it printed in proper filament so that it looked like the old cartoon colors. And that did come out exactly as expected. And and I just realized something that I can do. Yes, I'm still new to this stuff, but I just thought about it. And what I can do is go bring up the photos of him. Yes, there he is. Oh no, is it? Oh, there he is. Not the greatest photos, but let me share them with you real quick. The old Pooh Bear here. There he is. Look at that. Printed the body in color. Now I printed the honey in the translucent filament, then I did a wash. I used a yellow ochre wash paint job. Washing it down, meaning that I watered the paint down so that it was very translucent. So when that honey hits the light actually passes through it, giving it that golden honey look. Now the jar is printed in resin, and then I painted it in acrylics so that it looks like a clay jar, like you see him have. I don't know if it looks as good as I think it does, but I thought it was fun. I like Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear himself is printed in color, the yellow, black, and the red, just basic color filaments that give him that cartoon look. So he was fun, lots of fun. He wasn't a long project, so it wasn't really a lot to share in the process, except for, like I said, perfecting the texture of him. That's the only thing that really took just like a minute, just a minute. But all right, guys, I believe that might be it, just for a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed the hints, tips, and seeing the new projects that's getting started. I will update you on the Iron Man project just about daily as it finishes. So stay tuned, and talk to you later. Yes, I'm still looking for the button. I'm not good at this. Oh, and I'm supposed to say hit like and subscribe.